Happy Monday, everybody. Just posting this conversation I had with Chris Sewall late Sunday night. We talked through a couple of my crazy ideas, one of which I'm considering attempting, and one of which I have been deploying with a lot of success for a while now. And then we get to some fun 1990s baseball trivia. Hope you enjoy.
Hey, everybody. It is Mike and Chris. Chris, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Great. Just coming off what is a long weekend for my kids and not for me. So I'm back to work in the morning.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah, similar, I'd say.
My kids get to sleep in. So we both had some rough football weekends. I've got the Patriots, who were blown out by the Saints, and another terrible QB performance. And your team, the Commanders, met the buzzsaw that's the Bears.
Those mighty 0-4 Bears coming in are now 1-4, and yeah, they lost 40-20. It was not that close. It was 27-3 at halftime. So
Future Hall of Famer Justin Fields with 4 touchdowns.
right, who's the receiver? Who's their stud receiver?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. Yeah, he went for like 500 yards and 8 touchdowns or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He has always been great, though. I had him in my. I haven't done fantasy football this year, but I had him in my keeper league for quite a few years, and just kept keeping him because he's so good, so talented when he was on Carolina.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. I mean, Washington will make very good receivers look like the greatest of all time, as they did on Thursday.
Yeah. Do you follow basketball? Preseason started today.
I do during the season, but I'm not up to date on it at all at this point in time.
Yeah, I guess it started a few days ago because they had some Mavericks and somebody else were playing in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Minnesota, I think maybe they're playing against.
In Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't followed the preseason, but I just happen to know that the Celtics. I get an alert on my ESPN app that the Celtics started, and I was like, oh wow, preseason already, exciting.
Well, you know, it creeps up on you, man.
Yeah.
Pretty soon,
sure
baseball's done, and then all the other sports are in full effect.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to talk about today is market inefficiencies, and if you think back to Moneyball, the book, back when it first came out 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Who was the writer? Lewis.
I don't know the writer. I don't know the writer of the book, but yeah,
Michael Lewis. He wrote, and everybody says, well, everybody is now using statistics because of Moneyball. Well, baseball teams were always using statistics. What he found was that the A's were finding market inefficiencies like on base percentage, and then loading their team up with guys who were cheap but could get on base a lot, which meant scoring more runs. And then obviously the rest of the league eventually caught up, but the A's had a lot of success there in the 2000s because of these market inefficiencies. And if we apply these to buying and selling sports cards, I think that there are some other market inefficiencies that we can think of that we can exploit. I don't mean exploit in a negative way. I mean in a positive way, that you can make honest money where people aren't considering at this time. Now, eventually they'll catch up. If you think about 2021, you could buy cheap blaster boxes and turn around and sell those cards at a profit, the cards that you pulled out of those immediately. But obviously, Fanatics has increased the prices of boxes and closed that market inefficiency.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw one at you, see what you think.
Okay.
And then if you have any ideas, I'm obviously interested in your ideas too.
Sure.
CSG old green label 9.5s. If you buy those, you can buy them for $1 or $5 or $10 on eBay. If you go and you just filter on auction, you find some people who are trying to auction off cheap 9.5s. And we know that CSG is tough on grading. A 9.5 could be a 10 at PSA. And I'm not saying go out and buy one, because I think you need to buy quite a few to get the benefit, to get that, you've got a bunch of them, and a bunch of them will come back as 10s potentially. But you have that risk because some of them are going to come back 9s or even 8s. But I think based on what I've seen, 9.5s from CSG, old label, when they were even tougher on grading, a lot of them, high percentage of them come back as 10s. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know the numbers. When you say a high percentage of them come back as 10s, what are you basing that on?
I've seen videos where people have taken 9.5s from old green label CSGs, cracked them, and then sent them off to PSA, and they come back. I don't remember the numbers, but at a high percentage 10s.
Uh-huh.
And I would never just buy one and say, "Oh, I've
Right.
got a great chance to make a profit."
Got
But if
one
you buy a
data point,
bunch
right?
super cheap,
Well, so this is the first time I've heard this. So without having dove into it or researched it, or my initial thought is that PSA doesn't give out a lot of 10s to any much. They're really strict on giving out 10s. So I think that would be where the risk would come in there. I like the concept a lot. Like when you first started saying, I thought you were going to say take the green label CSG 9.5s and just regrade them at CSG. I don't know what their regrade policy is.
when they first switched over, your 9.5s, you could regrade for $5 at 10 with CSG. But I don't think CSG 10s in the new label are even doing very well anymore.
No, yeah, well, that's where I thought you were going. Yeah, exactly. They're probably not. But if you paid, it's only $5. I'm sure there's cards where that financially makes sense.
I think it's more. I think it's now 10 or 15 to cross it at a 10 now. I think that was just a promotion they did
Yeah,
when they
okay,
first switched.
right. Well, that would be the number to and is a 9.5 an old 9.5 guaranteed a 10 today?
I
Or
don't know if it still is, but I wouldn't even cross them at CSG. You did the video. You did a great video months ago
yeah,
showing the value of a CSG 10,
it's not
PSA 10,
not
Beckett
great.
10. It's pretty bad. Right.
Yeah. I would. I mean, the crossover to PSA thing. Personally, I have never had a lot of success doing that. But yeah, I mean, certainly if there's people showing videos of it, I mean, it's possible. My That would sort of be my gut instinct is that would be risky. Now, I guess if you have, yeah, if you had a big bankroll and you bought a ton of 9.5s and you knew 45% of them were going to cross over to 10s, you could calculate all this ahead of time. But yeah, so that would sort of be my answer. It's a good thought. I don't know that in practice it would work.
What about Beckett 9.5s? You did a video on a collection you bought. I think it was a 4-card collection yesterday or the day before that.
Yeah,
And you talked about how the value of Beckett slabs are way down.
way down, way
Do you
down.
ever consider cracking those 9.5s?
It's getting. I mean, I'm not much of a cracker. Like I've actually
Yeah.
made a video. I'm not much of a cracker. I've made videos where I cracked out a couple cards. There's every once in a while there's just cards that just you have to crack it because whatever. But I don't do it a lot. I just haven't had a lot of success. And with PSA gotten stricter recently, I really don't find it. I feel like you have to really have the right card in order to make it work. Beckett value is really dropping to they're like off the charts low, and in that sense, yeah, I mean maybe even it depends on the card, of course, but yeah, BGS 9, if you think it's going to be a PSA 9, that could actually easily make sense. But again, with PSA being stricter, it's a little bit riskier. Like this is like this was something that you could definitely exploit a few years ago, all over the place. Well, I don't know about cracking, but um, well, if you go back to like 2019 or so, let's say, and I've told this before a few times, but there were so many cards that were $2 raw. It was $8 to grade them with PSA. PSA 9s were worth 20 and PSA 10s were worth 50. And I mean, that doesn't sound very exciting on one card, right? Um, but but the number of $2 cards you could do that with was infinite. You could go to a card show, go to somebody's $2 box and just pick out any card that looked, 9, 10 potential. And those were the numbers. And you could just exploit that all day long if you wanted. But the mark, the factors have caught up to it where you can't do that anymore. One, PSA gives out fewer 10s. PSA has gotten a lot more expensive. The cost of these cards have come down in graded holders. But yeah, so that's like an example of something a few years ago you could have exploited really well. Today, the CSG crossover, it's interesting. It's interesting. I almost want to explore it, but my gut says the numbers don't work. But what's your gut say?
It's something I want to explore. I
Yeah,
would love to just see if anybody has like 50 old. Well, it's hard to say that they would have 50 old 9.5s, but if you could find them in bulk at 9.5s, crack them all, send them off to PSA, I think
yeah,
it'd be an interesting test.
yeah. Well, and it has to be the old green label, the ugly old green label that nobody liked.
I think those are cheaper, but to your point, maybe they're not significantly enough cheaper that it matters. Maybe the black labels aren't going for much either.
They might be really. No, I mean you might be right. They might be really cheap. And the Beckett 9.5s too. I mean, a Beckett 9.5, that's a $60 card, and a PSA. I mean, the Beckett 9.5s are almost similar value to PSA 9s nowadays. I mean, they're more, but not much more. So if you had, just making up numbers, if you had a Beckett 9.5 that was worth $50, the PSA 9's worth 40, and the PSA 10 is 120. Well, yeah, paying $19. I don't know if that EV works out, the expected value works out, but it's close.
And weren't Beckett 9.5s going for more than PSA 10s 3 years ago?
I don't know if they were going for more. I've heard people say that. I don't ever remember a time when the across the board 9.5s were more than PSA 10s, but maybe in certain cards, but it was definitely much closer than today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
PSA 9s have kind of plummeted too, if in ultra modern anyway.
Oh man. They're
If you're not a 10,
you can't give it away. I mean, yeah, and they're hard to move. I mean, even if you find comps, it's really hard to move PSA 9s on
yeah,
ultra modern. Yeah. It's almost 10 or bust on a lot of cards.
yeah. So what market inefficiencies do you think could work? Do you have any off the top of your head?
Well, so I tend to think in terms of like, well, so going back, the one I mentioned was sort of a big one that I wish I'd explored more. The grading the $2 cards.
Yeah.
The one you came up with is very good. There was a stretch there where you really could probably open packs, just grade the cards, the notable cards, and you have a positive EV, which is incredible to think. I wonder if that's actually true. Do you know if that's actually true?
When I first got back in 2020, I would go to Target and I would buy a box for $20,
Hmm.
and I could turn around and sell all the cards in there for a profit. And I did it 4 or 5 times, and I realized, why am I selling these? I want to keep these cards. Now that's a small sample size. I may have just gotten lucky with, uh, I don't know, LaMelo Ball rookies or Zion Williamson, whatever. 2020, I don't remember.
Yeah.
James Wiseman, maybe.
Wait,
And it was all basketball.
this was 2020?
It was late 2020, early 21 before Target shut down cards. Yeah.
And were you grading stuff?
Nope.
No. But okay, but so without grading, you were you were making more in a box. Wow. Yeah.
I think because they were difficult to find at
Yeah.
Targets and Walmarts, and I happened to be lucky. My Target had them frequently.
Yeah.
So I could open a box and then just sell the singles.
Yeah.
And then PSA shut down and Target shut down cards pretty much everywhere for the most part.
Okay. That's a really rare moment in the hobby's
Yeah.
history.
Yeah, it really was.
It was like that in the late 80s too. Like you could open a box of 88 tops and just put out the singles, and you in a 50-cent pack you'd get Dwight Gooden, and he'd be so you could sell him for $1. And so that existed in the late 80s briefly, but generally that's not the case. Generally,
Yeah.
and now it's obviously about as bad as it's ever been in terms of your EV might be 25% of your box opening, but
Yeah. Yeah.
no, in terms of like something to exploit. I tend to think like I think in those terms long term. Like what are cards that have some kind of upside to them? Not that they're definitely going to go up, but um, there's a chance it's going to go up, and if it did, it has a high ceiling, and if you spread yourself across a lot of that stuff, then you'll hit a few here and there. But in the things like vintage non-sports, or vintage soccer or modern soccer, I guess for that matter, or certain things that like have a lot of upside. I don't know that they're going to go up or not, but long term they may. How about you? Short in the present.
I just to note on that vintage non-sports, I just did a hobby think tank episode on Bench Clear Media last week with John Keating,
Oh,
and he does like he collects 1960-ish, 1961 Three Stooges cards.
okay. Oh, cool.
And so we talked a lot about what other non-baseball vintage cards are there out there, and I think that's a really interesting topic. Could those, as you said, go up in value in the next 10, 20 years? Hold them long term, buy them cheap today, and see an
I mean,
increase.
maybe. So like we've seen the rise of soccer, a few years ago, and it started with the modern, and then it creeped into vintage, right? And with non-sports, we're seeing a pretty significant rise in modern non-sports right now, and perhaps vintage non-sports will be next. I don't know, but that's certainly like a possibility. And if I was like taking a gamble on a long-term investment, that would be a decent category, I think.
Yeah, and I think about actual baseball and where the A's exploited the on-base percentage thing.
Yeah, that's so cool,
If
by the way. But
if
were they the pioneers, or were they just sort of credited as the pioneers?
no, I think they were Billy Bean
Yeah,
really did that with the A's back in early 2000s.
yeah, yeah.
He just found guys like Scott Hatteberg from the Red Sox, and
No,
I think that might have been after the book came out. Maybe the book was about Scott Hatteberg. I don't remember. It's been so long.
yeah,
But now, 5 years ago, Major League Baseball said we're going to put these new rules in place, and it focuses on speed of game, and making the game more exciting.
sure.
Teams should have started drafting for speed and power, a combination of speed and power. And you look at a guy like Ronald Acuna, who can steal 70 bases now
It's
and
pretty good.
hit 40 home runs. And people say, well, it's because everybody can steal a base now. But nobody else is hitting 40 home runs and stealing 70 bases.
No, they're not.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's so then I got thinking about another thing, and I see a lot of people talking about unauthenticated autographs. It's been a big controversy in the
Mhm.
hobby in the last few months, but you can buy unauthenticated autographs really cheap on eBay, and you can get them done through the mail, TTM. You can buy them at card shows. There's some risk there, but you can
Sure.
also get them authenticated through PSA or Beckett and sell them at a pretty decent profit.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't know. Would you know have any numbers of an example off the top of your head? But
Uh, I I got a Ronald Acuna autograph, an in-person autograph off of eBay
mhm.
for $40, and then I paid 15 to get it authenticated by PSA, and those sell for 90
Oh,
now
great.
on that card.
Yeah,
It's on one of his Topps rookie cards. I didn't think to dig it out before,
sure.
but that's I paid 55
Right.
all in between the card and the grading, and I looked it up on eBay a couple weeks ago, and it's $90. That's what it's been selling for.
Well, I mean, those numbers work out great, right? I mean,
Sure,
if you scale that up,
right. But
that's
of course, Acuna is very hot. It's
true.
you got to focus on guys whose values are high now, or that you think will be going up in the future. I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Well, or if you were, I wonder if it works on like a Don Mattingly, or somebody who's not playing anymore. Uh, what could you buy his card, unauthenticated for and great? Don Mattingly is probably a bad example, but um, a bigger retired star might without, so you wouldn't have the roller coaster ride that Acuna might have.
Yeah. So let's think about let's say Ozzie Smith rookie. I
Yeah,
just paid
right.
$60 for his autograph on his rookie card. The rookie card I paid like $10 for.
Well, you paid 10 for the card, and then
10 for the card,
and
60
then
for the autograph
how did you get the autograph, through the mail?
through the mail, but through a private signing. So he doesn't
Okay.
do through the mail autographs, but it was through a private signing.
Sure.
And then you pay $15 for the
grading.
the grading. So now you're at
85.
85, and you could sell that for over 100. I think you're actually better off buying although there's more risk here, buying the rookie card that's already autographed.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because you pay less than $70 for it, unauthenticated.
You would, or you know that, or you're guessing?
In most cases, most of these Hall of Famers, you can buy their cards autographed for cheaper on eBay than you can getting it done yourself.
Okay.
Because there's more risk in buying them on eBay.
Well, so I mean, I'm not a huge autograph guy, but that's a great thought. And if I have to imagine, if you do a little bit of research into what their autograph looks like, you can shave a lot of that risk away. Certainly, there's going to be some still,
Absolutely.
but you could probably shave a lot of it down. No.
Yeah, especially with the vintage guys, because their autographs are pretty famous. Ronald Acuna's autograph is really difficult to discern what he's written.
Okay. Well, a lot of people like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But with the older guys, you can tell, like a Brooks Robinson autograph.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Right.
Mickey Mantle autograph, although Mickey Mantle would be tougher because people have forged those, like Michael Jordan's.
Yeah, I don't think you couldn't touch Mantle or Jordan. There's just too many fakes out there.
Yeah.
And the fakes are so good that PSA is guessing when they.
Yeah, I would stay away from the big time, the inner circle guys like Mays.
No, but Ozzie Smith is a good example. Yeah, or Ripken or Yaz, right? Any of these, their autographs on there, because the autograph rookies, that's going to be, yeah. And I don't know if you would get the card graded as well, but I like the thought here.
So the value shoots up on dual grade depending on what grades you get.
Yeah.
If you get the card graded and the autograph graded, and the card obviously needs to get authenticated too, because people love, including me, the PSA set registry. And to get an autograph into the set registry, the card needs to be dual graded.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But the dual grading is to a minimum of $25.
Yeah, but it'll be worth more, right?
Potentially.
Assuming, I mean, well, so you know this a lot better than I do. So, but if you have like a Yaz rookie autographed, like if it's a 3-8 combination, is that good or bad?
It's good.
That's good.
So it's funny because I'm sending off my Yaz rookie, not the one right behind me, but a different one.
Yeah.
To get autographed in 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting the card, and I will dual grade it. I'm expecting the card to come back about a 3.
Mm-hmm.
And if I assume the autograph will come back a 10, then
that's gotta be good. Right?
Yeah, it'll be worth. I think I paid $80 for the card. I'll pay another 100, I think, for the autographs. There's 180. The card will be worth 300 plus.
Yeah. Well, and so with the auto, so obviously with a card, there's like this exponential with like the Yaz rookie. There's an exponential value up in terms of the grade. Like a 9 is worth 10 times an 8, or 10 is worth 20 times a 9, or whatever. Is it that the case with the auto too, or it's not that extreme?
Well, if you think about when you're listing out a card on eBay and it has a PSA 10 autograph grade,
yeah,
that automatically would bump that up to the top of searches for Carl Yastrzemski PSA 10. And even though it's only the autograph grade,
okay,
people are going to see that. And obviously, people aren't bidding for a PSA 10 Carl Yastrzemski, but people love those PSA 10 autographs.
Okay, so the 10 on the auto grade is it's probably not that significant. It's not as exponential as the card, but it's still a massive boost. Like,
yeah,
is a 310 worth twice as much as a 3.9?
No, twice as much, maybe.
Yeah,
at least 50% more.
Okay.
People are dumping PSA 9. I got to bring up Acuna again. But you can get a Acuna PSA 9 autograph, in-person autograph, way cheaper than the 10s. And I don't understand it. It looks exactly the same to me.
Yeah.
But it's just that the card grade number can be the same, but if the autograph number is lower, You get it way cheaper.
People love those 10s, man.
Yeah.
And the set registry, you're right, that's a big part of it.
So buying, there's another inefficiency, is PSA 9 autographs.
Sure, I guess, yeah. Well, especially if you're a collector. So by the way, if we go back to your original question, if you're talking about it as a collector, there's all sorts of ways to exploit this, right? I did a video on basically exactly what we're talking about. You can get a whole bunch of PSA 9 for the same price as a PSA 10, and if you're a collector and you just want the example I gave in my video was it was a bunch of 80s rookies. Kirby Puckett Topps rookie in a PSA 10 was like, I don't know, $500 or something. And if you just go for the 9s, you can get essentially like 25 Hall of Fame rookies from the 80s, all in PSA 9s for the same price as the Puckett 10. So if you're a collector, that's a great way to exploit it and expand your hobby dollars. I don't know if you're going to make money doing that, but as a collector, that's yeah.
Yeah, tough to get 10s on those 80s cards.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. Easy to get 9s for some reason, but not 10s. Impossible to get 10s.
Yeah. Yeah, I just bought a Darryl Strawberry 83 Topps traded, and I'm halfway convinced it can get a 10.
But you bought it raw?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, how much have you been submitting lately, man? PSA is not giving up.
I know. I've submitted 3 orders to PSA. I've got one of them back.
Okay.
But yeah, I see a lot of PSA reveals. I'm well aware.
It's really frustrating, man.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because I know 5 years ago, I should have just been submitting a lot more 5 years ago, but I missed that boat.
It'll be interesting to see, assuming that people slow down on how many they're submitting to PSA, if the PSA then starts increasing those 10s again.
Oh, wow. That's a really interesting thought. Did you, I don't know. I don't know if you saw, I did a video recently where I don't understand why PSA's numbers go up and up and up, because to me, there's just fewer and fewer cards that it makes sense to grade.
Yeah, I did watch that video.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Yeah, thanks. It's gotta stop, right? Like there's just so many, I buy so many collections where there's cards from 2022 in a PSA 9 holder and it's like a $2 card. And I mean, who's at some point people have to realize this and stop submitting them, because if you want the card graded as a collector, just buy it graded. So at some point I think that's going to stop, and that's a really interesting thought. Will PSA get a little easier with their things once that happens? If it happens, I assume it will, but maybe not.
Yeah, and there are also, when you look at vintage cards, prices have come down enough that it makes more sense to buy the card already graded now, whereas a year ago,
yeah,
it made more sense to buy the card raw and then grade it.
Yeah.
But now I bought almost nothing but graded cards at the National.
Yeah.
Because I could get a Ted Williams, what is that grade? It's a 2.5 for less than I could get for the card raw, because nobody wants to admit that their card's only going to come out as a 2.5.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, absolutely, right? I mean, yeah.
I stopped. Speaking of Ted Williams, I was at one table, and he had a 51 Bowman Ted Williams, and he had it priced at, and I looked it up, it was raw, and I said, "We got this priced at PSA 5 prices, and this is a 1.5 maybe. It looks really good, but it has paper loss on the back." And he said, "Well, then don't buy it." I'm like, "Okay, I won't." But I just don't understand that mentality. No one's going to buy it.
Yeah, no, I know. I think of this. You see that a lot at shows, right? There's just vintage dealers with nothing but raw, and your first thought's like, oh, let me go through some of these and see if there's like some grading potential. But yeah, they're all priced over the grade, the value of the grade you expect that to get. I think what's going on is they sell a very small percentage of their inventory, but they get massive returns on them, so they don't have to sell through very much of it. I was trying to remember this one story. I was just at this show, and this guy was like looking at, it was a Nolan Ryan, I can't remember, an early Nolan Ryan, and the guy had like $200 on the sticker, and he said to the dealer, "Hey, this won't grade a PSA. The best this could possibly grade is a PSA 5, and PSA 5s go for 180. You got 200 on here. What can you do? And the dealer's like, nah, 200. I'm not going to discount it any. And the guy's like, yeah, well, I could just go on eBay and buy a PSA 5 cheaper. And he's like, well, do that. And the guy's like, whatever, I'll just buy it. So I think just holding out for some on the spot buys like that, and it happens every once in a while.
Yeah. Anything else you can think of before we dive into some trivia?
No, I want to hear the trivia. I'm excited about the trivia.
All right.
I want to hear. Was there any updates to your dealing career?
No, I've had nothing but chaos in my work life the last 2 weeks.
Been on hold.
Yeah, so I work in sales enablement.
Yeah.
So end of the quarter and beginning of the next quarter are always absolute chaos.
Okay.
And so the last 2 weeks have been crazy. I haven't done anything at all.
Yeah. Okay. So no updates whatsoever. No COMC sales or yeah.
I did. I put up just in the last few days. COMC added like 90 to 100 of my 125 cards I sent to them over the summer.
Okay.
And I priced them all out, and I sold 4 yesterday without a single offer coming in, which surprised me. I priced them low because I want to move them. But like one of them was a poor condition 51 tops Duke Snyder.
Tops like redback?
Yep, exactly. And I priced it at $25.
Okay.
It was poor condition, and it sold immediately. So,
yeah.
And there were others on there that were at $25 to $30 that I felt were in better condition than mine.
Okay. So it was a nice sale.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's an update. You said you had no updates. These are updates. Okay.
Yeah. I sold the Michael Jordan PSA 10 that I got back 2 weeks ago today. Yeah. I sold that. My goal was to reach the same price that the other two had sold for the same day I had listed it, which was $330. It sold for $305, I think.
In auction or that was
in auction? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually not bad. So you got 10% under market for an auction.
Yeah. But those other two went on auction too.
What did that lot of, what do you have, 63 tops Hall of Famers go for?
$15 maybe.
Oh, okay. Not a lot.
Yeah, nothing significant. But yeah, the Jordan, I think I told you this already. I paid 60 raw, paid 15 to get it graded. So I quadrupled the money. Yeah.
Killer. What if it had come back a 9? Would you have broken even?
Yeah, I think 9s are 150.
Oh, you would have still been up on a 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So no, I wouldn't have broken even. I would have done better. Sorry.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But I haven't even listed another card in the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, 100 cards at COMC, that's significant.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that they put the other 20 or 30 out. I've got another couple hundred to send off to them soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing major. I mean, I wouldn't send anything major to COMC.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
But I have 2 PSA orders coming back in the next few weeks too.
Okay. Anything super exciting?
One of them is the 80 special that they did.
Okay.
I don't think I have a star Dominique Wilkins that I'm hoping gets a 10. It's an 84 star.
Wait, 84? 83 is his first one, I think. I think he's in the 83.
It's bright yellow. It's like 91 Fleer baseball. Bright yellow.
Okay.
I'm really hoping it's more likely be a 9, but 91. The 10s, I think there's 110.
A 10 would be big bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. I bought it for $20 raw before PSA started grading star cards again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what it would go for.
By the way, is 91 Fleer baseball the worst? Not looks wise. Well, I didn't mean looks wise, but in terms of like star power of a set, there's not one thing in there.
No rookies in there, right?
Griffey's a nickel. Nolan Ryan's a nickel, and
it's
then
awful.
You're done. Yeah. Anyway.
So let's talk 90s.
No, Luis Gonzalez is in there, rookie.
Oh yeah, of course, Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah. Let's not sleep on him.
Let's talk 90s baseball.
All right, you got a trivia. Okay.
You did most home runs in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think you had 24 guys in that list.
Mm-hmm.
I have the top 15 strikeout pitchers of the 90s. Most strikeouts. by a pitcher in the 90s. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to see
Okay.
how many you can come up. There are a bunch that are really obvious, but there are some surprises in here.
Okay.
Guys that, and I want to know the year of their rookie cards, because some of these stumped me. I was looking like, I don't know when this guy's rookie card was. I made some guesses, but I wasn't right every time.
Okay, hold on. I need to. Okay, this is a good one. Okay.
And we should note, this is harder for you because home run guys, everybody knows home run guys. I should have done way better on that. Pitchers are tougher, and pitchers aren't really collectible in baseball as much as home run guys.
There's
So
definitely gonna be some names that are like, what?
this is hard. There's no doubt about it. So
Okay. So the
I'm gonna
top 15 most strikeouts for a pitcher in the 1990s.
yes, and their rookie card year.
Okay.
I'm starting the timer. Oh, any questions?
No.
Starting the timer now.
Okay. I'm going to go with the obvious ones first and then go year by year. So Clemens,
Number 2.
in 84 or 85, depending on what
Yep,
you think.
I put 84/85.
Randy Johnson, 89.
Yep.
Pedro Martinez, he's got to be on there, right?
Yep, number 10.
He's 91, upper deck.
Yep.
Greg Maddux, probably.
Yep, number 6.
87.
Yep.
Tom Glavine,
number 12.
88.
Yep.
John Smoltz,
number 4.
88 or 89, depending on how you define his rookie.
Yep.
Kurt Schilling,
number 9.
89. Donruss.
That's right.
Okay, so I've got those are the sort of obvious ones, at least that I immediately thought. How many is that?
That's 7.
7. All right. All right, we'll start in like 84. So there's no rookies prior to 84. So 84, Dwight Gooden, probably he's not out anymore. Dwight Gooden out. Mark Langston, he would have been done by then. 86.
Mark Langston was in the top 20.
Okay.
Or
Earl
25.
Hershiser was probably too early. 86 would have been.
Clemens was the earliest rookie.
Okay, so 87 then. Doug Drabeck. So
Nope.
That's a reach. 87.
Halfway there, 90 seconds.
I'll say like Mariano. No, it's obviously not Mariano. Mike Mussina.
Yep, number
91.
14. Yep.
Kevin Brown.
That's right. That's
87.
That's right. He's number 8. Hall of Fame candidate. He shouldn't be in, but he had a way better career than people remember.
Yeah. David Wells.
David Wells was 18th.
Okay, 88. Chris Bosio. No chance. You like that one?
Milwaukee Brewers legend.
Yeah. I don't know why he came to mind. 90. How many do I have?
8.
No, 10, right?
9. You have 9. Wells was outside of the top 15.
I count 10. Okay. All right. I think my time is. I don't know that I'm going to come up with somebody else.
25 seconds. Do you want to?
Yeah, give me the 25. 90. 89. I can't even come up with like the obscure guys at the moment on the spot.
It's way harder than
Schilling.
people think.
Pete Harnish. That's a reach.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Time's up.
Okay.
Got a dog barking to.
So I counted 10 that I got. I only got 9.
You got Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Smoltz, Maddux, Brown, Schilling, Pedro, Glavine, Mussina.
Oh, yeah, that's 9. I was counting 10. Okay, got 9. Okay, so I'm missing 6. All right. Yeah.
All right.
Into me.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3 on this list was a guy whose rookie card came in 1987.
Okay.
He had a non-Hall of Fame career, but there's an argument there that he was a Hall of Famer, and he played most of the decade for the Yankees during the World Series run.
Oh, 87. Well, I was going to say Pettit, but he's not there. 87. Doug Drabeck, I said already. Doug Drabeck? No. 87
Rookie card, I believe, was with the Mets.
in 87. Oh my gosh, how can I not know this? This has to be so easy.
I think he's now a color guy.
No, that's not going to help. No.
Okay.
87. Are you sure it's 87 with the Mets?
I'll look it up.
He played most of his career with the Yankees. Yeah, no.
Most of the 90s. Yeah, he was with the Mets on 87. Oh, 87 Donruss. He was with the Royals. 87 Topps. He was with the Mets. 87 Donruss, the rookies. He was also with the Mets.
Who is
very
this?
interesting.
I give up. Pass. I don't know.
David Cohn.
David Cohn. Come on, man. So easy.
Third.
How did I miss David Cohn? I liked him too.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very good pitcher.
Yeah.
Number 5, played all 10 years for the California or Anaheim Angels.
Mark Langston? No.
I would have thought Langston would have been in the top 15, but he got most of his success in the 80s.
Chuck Finley?
That's right.
Okay.
Here's a guy who appeared on an 88 Team USA card.
By the way, what's Finley's rookie? Is it 87?
Yeah, 87.
Okay.
Appeared on an 88 Team USA card. Rookie card, though, was an 89. And pitched.
Jim Abbott. Jim Abbott?
No. Jim Abbott had the number 1 draft. I think you're right. Jim Abbott did, but no, Jim Abbott was not.
There's no way Jim Abbott would be in the top 15. But
no.
Okay. So it's funny. Jim Abbott and David Wells both fit what you just said, but it's neither of them.
No, I think this person pitched for San Diego for most of the 90s.
88.
Pretty obscure.
Give me like the initials or something.
AB.
AB. Alex.
Yes.
Andrew. Alex. Alex Bennis? No, Alex. Andy Bennis.
Yeah, Andy Bennis. Yes.
Andy Bennis is in the top 15?
Yep. It's 1,655 strikeouts.
I wouldn't have guessed he was in the top 100.
He led the league in strikeouts in 1994. Strike shortened.
You obviously made that up.
In 91, he finished 6th in the Cy Young voting. In 96, he finished 3rd.
This somehow went over me because I wouldn't have known he was relevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Good one.
Number 11, pitched all 10 years and maybe his entire career for Kansas City. I know all 10 years of the 90s.
Kevin Appier.
That's right. I loved Kevin Appier.
Yeah, I liked him too. Yeah.
Then number 13, there's no chance you're going to get this, but
okay.
Number 13, pitched for Toronto the most in the 90s, but he also pitched for Oakland, St. Louis, Texas, and Arizona.
Dave Stewart. No, obviously not. Wait, played most with the Blue Jays, you said?
Yeah.
Jack Morris.
No.
Your boy.
We're never going to get through a video without him being mentioned.
No, I know. Okay, what's his rookie card year?
It was 88.
Yeah, this is all right. By the way, what's Kevin Apier's rookie? Is it 88?
Appier was 1990.
1990. I can't even picture his rookie. All right, this guy, the Blue Jays guy from 88. Give me the initials.
TS.
Todd Stottlemyre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's impossible. Next one.
No chance I would have gotten that.
This next one, rookie in 87. Also, most of his years in the 90s were with Texas, but he also pitched for Oakland, Florida, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay. You're not going to get it, but I'll give you a little hint. His son is now a major leaguer. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is his son.
Okay. Wait, and you said 87?
Yes, he was.
And main team was what?
Texas.
I mean, yeah. Give me the initials.
BW.
BW. Brad. Brian. Bobby Witt.
Yep.
Yeah. Bobby Witt was in the top 15. Okay.
Number 15, 1,270 strikeouts. And then it went Tom Gordon, Darryl Kyle. So I stopped at 15, and this is why.
I appreciate that, because Tom Gordon and Darryl Kyle would have struggled with it.
And then David Wells, and then Juan Guzman, who would have been on my list.
Okay.
And John Burkett.
No, wouldn't have gotten any of those.
And then after that, I think it was Jeff Facero.
Okay.
It's so obscure.
Wow. So what's amazing about the 90s is like the top heaviness of it, and then the massive drop. Like 1 through 5 are like super studs, all-time greats. And then by the time you get into 11, 12, 13, you're like, who is this guy?
Yeah. And then like after that, Jeff Facero, Alex Fernandez.
No way.
Then you've got 3, Ramon Martinez, Jack. Yeah.
Alex Fernandez was a huge bust, I thought. I guess he had a relevant career.
Let's just see.
Like, I wonder if players like Ben McDonald, who you just kind of assume are huge busts, actually end up sort of decent.
Alex Fernandez had a WAR of 28.5.
What? Wow.
So he was decent.
Okay. No, that's great.
A nice career.
That's a great career. Yeah.
Ben McDonald had a WAR of 21.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And he didn't last very long either. He only pitched for 9 seasons.
Yeah. No, I mentioned him as a bust in one of my videos, and somebody randomly said he's in the comments like, he's not a bust. He had a great career, and I was like, no, he didn't. But yeah, it's actually 21 WAR. That's solid.
He's a baseball card bust, like most.
Yeah, he's a baseball card bust, but yeah, had a solid career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did very well.
But that was cool. That was fun. So then, Andy Bennis. Who was the other? Wait, I forgot to write down the last guy. Andy Bennis, and who was the last guy? Oh, Bobby Witt. Yeah,
and Todd Stottlemyre.
And Todd Stottlemyre. I would not have guessed those guys anywhere near the top 15.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either.
Yeah.
I would have had Juan Guzman and Ramon Martinez in there because I collected those guys heavily.
Oh, Ramon Martinez. Yeah, I should have guessed. Yeah.
No,
he was a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, as they were back then. Like,
right,
one per inning was really good.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Yeah.
So
that's it. Yeah, I mean that was fun.
Yeah. All right, I will. I'll have a good one for you next time.
Cool. Looking forward to it. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This will go out Monday morning.
Okay. Cool.
Any last thoughts before we go?
No. Go Todd Stottlemyre.
Go Commanders.
Go Commanders.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, man.